all right, family. Black Power. You live with the general. You're getting the rawest commentary on international, national news from the general. Black Power, how it affect our people, getting a world view. Coming out of the liquor store politics and growing our vision into the future and looking at geography, the necessity of geography and military geography, learning resources and key areas of the world that affect us that we don't even know. We don't even understand how it affect us. How our economy is based on these particular areas, resources, and how any type of ripple in its productivity, accessibility, and all of that can have an effect on you right there in your community, whatever city you may reside in, Black America or African people in general, all around the world. It don't matter. What's so crazy about these particular strategic areas, it affect people all over the world, no matter where you at. This is very choke points, and Hormuz is a choke point, and Malacca, the Strait of Malacca. We want to talk about it some more. We don't just want to touch on it. We want people to have access to as many videos about these areas. And you ain't never heard of this strait before in your life, but I'm gonna bring this to you, and it is very key because again, over 30% of global trade moves through this strait. Matter of fact, I'm sitting behind it, and I don't. Let me get it. Let me get a better. Just drop it in here for us, so we can get a better view of it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's a better view. And so, what's very significant about that, man, you even bring, you got China, you got India too, whatever resources. So I mean, it's going both ways though. It's going both ways. Whatever China is importing into Asia, China, Cambodia, Philippines, Taiwan, and I'm quite sure it's a lot of, as far as that technology with Taiwan being heavy on them superconductors and and them computer chips, and you know what I'm saying. They very they like the leading nation in the world. So it's a lot of nations that really Taiwan got something what everybody need. You feel what I'm saying? And so whoever in control of that choke point, you in control of a lot of nations. You can see critically. You can see critically like what the Strait of Hormuz is doing, just on the oil tip. Man, listen here, man. I'm gonna go around. Man, it's a whole lot of nations in the world, man, upside down right now. A lot of nations is upside down. Some of the bigger nations who got a greater reserve, they might be all right for a minute, but even then, they cutting into their reserves. That how long that gonna go on? So if you don't produce oil, you gonna be in trouble in a minute. You see, but the littler nations that don't have them kind of reserves, man, they already upside down. They already upside down right now. I was looking at Australia. They upside down right now. Yeah, they already taking a heavy hit. You know what I'm saying? You kidding me? Say they got long commercials and stuff. I don't even be watching it, Ray. I'm gonna have to see what's going on. Yeah, well, you know what? They know damn well what I'm teaching over here. You ain't find nobody else teaching this type of information, not to the black community. These niggas up here talking about Kodak and all the drill rappers and shit and all of that, and this, that, and the third. So they know when you getting national, international information, we take you on a level where you can understand the world. You feel what I'm saying? And how this motherfucker operate, and once you start to study the global thing, man, you already know what's going on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know what's going on in the hood because it's going on on a miniature level, but it's the same politics and policies that are being played on our people, no matter where you're at on the planet. So you could, to our family that's tuning in from Africa, they could be tuning in from the Caribbean, they could be tuning in from all around the world. It apply to you. This information is for a global African community. It don't matter where you at. If they clog that straight up right there, you gonna have problems right there in your little local area. Your little everything gonna go up. Your gas, your food, a lot of shit. Your water, everything gonna go up because it's gonna cost more to move around. It's gonna cost more for them trucks, them damn 16 wheelers that carry it from the East Coast to the West Coast, the North to the South. The gas go up, the diesel go up. You know what I'm saying? The man who drive and even the man that drive the damn truck, he get paid the same amount, but everything will go up around him. So shit, he ain't making as much. Inflation go up. So that cut into so you could be making whatever, $40, $50, but when that goddamn inflation go up, it's like you're making $30, $25. Cut into your shit. You know what I'm saying? And so that, all of that matter. But when you looking at and this is significant that the United States has really, put its presence in all these choke points. They didn't take in the Panama Canal, and technically, Greenland is a strategic, it's very strategic. It's not a choke, and it can be a choke point. It can be a choke point. Whoever controls that got the up on the other as far as missile defense. You see, that's very critical, and that's why Donald Trump was trying to seize that. And I just want y'all to get past him because he's not the first one that understood that. So I don't want people to get caught up on Donald. We don't give a damn about Donald Trump because other presidents have understood that a long time before him. And the reason why it's more critical today is you got Russia and you got China that want to do some of the same things that the United States is doing out there. And this really show and prove that China's navy ain't what it is. You see, because wherever the United States need to be, they there. They own this shit. They own the Panama Canal. They own Venezuela. You see what I'm saying? They going and quiet is kept, and this is just strategic. If y'all tired of talking, motherfucker, do something strategic to stop it. Don't get mad at somebody for reporting the fucking facts. And that's what's wrong with our people. You don't look at this information and say, you know what? That's why I'm giving it to you. You supposed to, embrace this information. And you know what? This is supposed to be one of the major studies of a people. This is not, geography, but military geography, economic geography. It's supposed to be something you teach your babies, man, so they can and you put the maps up. That's what I did, man. I always had maps up until, when you got the maps up, let me When you got the maps up, I'm gonna tell you, when you walk through the house and I had the world map up, and then I got critical areas that I wanted to view, Africa, big giant map of Africa, Asia, and particularly Asia, where I could zoom good maps where I could look at it every day. And when you looking at them every day, then the information get the flowing, the spirituality, the understanding is you becoming one with the world. You understand? You begin to have idea as you walk past, you begin to understand things, and it'll happen, in just in a moment that you ain't even really, and you walk past and some jump in your head because you've been looking at it for so long. You say, I see now. Yeah, okay. I see how they doing that, this, that, and the third. And once you begin, then you begin to have international politics based on economics, because that's where you got to go. You got to look at that map first and foremost, and you got to master the resources of the world. When you master the resources of the world, then you master how they transport the resources of the world. You got to find every choke point on the planet, all of them, pinpoint. Put them pins. I put them pins on there. Particular color pins I put on the wall. Them choke point. Then the major cities. Boom, 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 boom. On every nation, rivers, lakes. You see rivers, lakes, valleys, mountain peaks, all of that, all terrain. You see what I'm saying? You might have to scrap with a motherfucker. You want to learn the terrain. You want to learn, you know what I'm saying? You want to get topographical maps. You see what I'm saying? Where you can see the, elevation, and you know what I'm saying? And the valleys. You want to see the elevation, where it ride, what level, or how far above sea level, the lay of the land is. You need to know all of that. And if you've been in the military, you already know any goddamn way. You got to map that shit out. You got to know which way you going. You got to know north, south, east, west. You got to pinpoint that shit. Some of them know how to go on the map and pinpoint where they at. And that's very critical that people learn the map. But to see the United States is over, in another area, a key area. They got Panama. They gonna get, listen to me when I'm telling you. They gonna get horror moves too. Cause they over there, and we're gonna talk about that. Them people not gonna last too much longer. They collapsing over there. The inside information is getting out. They already over there collapsing. They collapsing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that. ATMs is empty, medicine shortage, food prices already went up to 40, already went up 40%. Man, they could be having 12-hour power cuts. The lights is out for 12 hours. Man, come on, man. Y'all motherfuckers crazy. I'm not trying to win like that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, family, we most definitely gonna be as we, cause see, again, we're gonna move on, because like they say, you make a noise in the east and you strike in the west. See, most people is talking about horror moves. Ain't nobody talking about this, but I'm bringing it to you. And so this is Naga News Network. We Be Right Black, family. Get over to Patreon right now. Click the link. Get over there. Get that work. General got some classic videos over there, all fire up to 600. And I put 6 new ones up there. And we're going to turn the fountain of wisdom on tomorrow for your family so you can drink. I'll be right black. Black power.